Welcome to It's Show Business. This week we have comedian Frank Castillo on. He's a roast battle champion, was recently passed at the Comedy Store, super funny guy. I can't wait for you to hear this episode. He has some amazing tips in terms of how to navigate LA, the clubs, how to get in, etc. You don't want to miss it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free, the easiest way to support the podcast. Thank you so much. Frank Castillo, man, thanks for doing the pod.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen your lovely face.
I know, man. It's just been too long since I've seen you too.
Dude, like, I mean, I'm sure everyone's beat it to death, but it is a crazy time. We're doing the podcast remote. The Comedy Store is still closed, right?
Yeah.
And you're one of the paid regulars?
Uh-huh.
Recently passed, which was a big deal.
Yeah. I was passed for less than a month and the world ended.
Oh, man. But it'll be back. At least, like, you want to get back in line like
yeah,
a lot
right?
of people, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And we had a great time in New York running around doing comedy at during Skankfest.
Yeah, you saved me. I was super, super high just running around New York. And I remember just being on a train and I was like, yeah, I'm going to this spot. And you're like, are you sure? Because this isn't the train. And I was like, really? And then I run outside and I'm like, oh my God, you're right. And then end up getting on the right train. But
that was such a random two random New York moments we had. I ran into you outside the Cellar just randomly and we kind of like connected. And then, we were on the same train, I think, and I was getting off to go somewhere. And you thought you were going to Skankfest or somewhere. And you were like, get on this. You basically had to switch trains. But yeah, it's so weird in a city of like, 10, 14 million people, you can still run into like your friend twice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that trip was such a magical trip for me because it was the first time I was ever in New York.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I was doing a festival. So to be able to just run around and do those clubs, like, because I got to do guest spots at Caroline's because Felipe Esparza was like, come do some spots. And then I did Skankfest. And then I hung out at the Cellar because Attell and a few other people were just there. And I was like, well, we saw each other at Skankfest. And yeah, it was just great just to hang out and be there. It was weird too because I didn't want to like, you know what it's like going to like a new club.
Yeah.
You don't want to like be in anyone's way. So it was the first time I felt that way in a long time. I
went with, Emma Willman?
Yeah.
So she brought me in and I went in with her and I watched her set and that was easy, but and that was great. And it was a good time doing that with her. But yeah, just being at the Cellar when you're not supposed to be there is like the worst.
And you're just like, yeah.
Because at least the Comedy Store, like, all right, just get in the front if you don't know anyone or you're just not supposed to be there. But like, yeah, it's New York, everything's tight. There's just nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Even when I go with friends to like other clubs around town, it's just like there's very limited space to be.
It's an interesting feeling when you're trying to like judge your, you're like, oh, am I allowed to be here kind of deal?
Yeah.
It's always that. But I think having that is a good awareness to have because you see the people who don't, and you're like, ooh.
Oh, yeah. The people who don't have that self-awareness when people are like, you should not be here. Especially in the, sometimes in the green room, there's a few people in there not supposed to be there. I've had people run up to me in green rooms as I was about to go on, asking me to get on my show. And I'm like, well, and they're not even on the show in the green room. You're like, no, just...
Yeah, time and place, man.
Can someone pull you aside and just give you basic manners? Don't.
Yeah. It's like, you ever watch, do you watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan?
I haven't. I don't know how to watch it. Do you have to have ESPN?
I think you do have to have ESPN, but I think one of the TV stations is doing an encore, so they're just playing all the episodes for free.
Okay.
But there's a moment where it's a very professional setting, they're filming something, and you can tell it's an AD or someone that's an assistant, they're helping Michael do put a microphone on or something. And then there's a moment of everyone's just kind of resting before they shoot something, and then you see the guy just kind of pull something out of his pocket and he's like, hey, can you sign something for me real quick? And everyone's just like, oh, and you see a guy come up and go no, and it was just it's you definitely everyone needs one of those guys.
That's his time. It's a great shot in Comedian too with Seinfeld. This guy's about to MC, supposed to bring him on. He's like, can I get a quick pic? He's like, after the show. It's don't interrupt me as I'm about to do my thing. It's
Yeah,
personal
let them
time.
be.
That is, yeah, a little self-awareness class would probably be like probably the best thing to help a lot of people in LA too. Cause it helps
Yeah,
like you're trying to, this town is a lot of favors, a lot of like, hey, can you do this? Or how do I do this? And having just like basic, likability, basic personal skills, it goes a long way.
yeah, it really does. Because I mean, you see both sides of it, where it's like you see some people that are extremely talented and they don't know how to do the personal side of it or likability. Then you see people who know only how to do that,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
they get a spot, and then it's like
Yikes.
it's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, I mean, the talent does rise to the top eventually, but like, why not augment your talent with like a little bit of like knowing how to navigate, And it's
Absolutely, you gotta.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not going to be everyone's way, but it's part of it in this crazy town we live in. You're balancing marriage too, right?
yeah. I mean, it's less like I'm balancing it, and more like she's just dealing with an artist. It's
Right.
yeah, she's very successful. She's got she's about to be a licensed therapist, so she's got her master's degree. She's like, working at a hospital right now, so she's like set. The only thing that's changed during the pandemic is I don't get to do stand up. So
Right.
yeah, like it's weird, it's weird. It's like I'm finding out who I'd be if I didn't do comedy.
Right. It's but it's not like it'd be so much worse if like maybe you broke your leg or something and like only you couldn't do comedy. But it's
Yeah,
at least kind of like everyone can't do comedy, which is
yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
weird to say, but it's also like, you don't, it'd be extra sad if you're stuck and everyone else is like, what do you mean? It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me how dope it is and see people do shows. It's like,
Yeah.
no.
Or if like, I mean, I'm Canadian, so if they told me like Canada had no virus and like clubs were going, I would like move there for 2 months.
Yeah, that's the thing is like there's some people think about moving to Texas. There's clubs that are opening up.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, it's I don't know if I think I would go. I would go if someone was like feature for me, like, and I know the money would be terrible and all that jazz, but I think I'd want to go just because I need it.
You'd
I
go.
need to, yeah,
At some point, it's just going to be a leap of faith for everybody. Like we're
yeah,
all just going to have to be like, all right, some trust. I guess hopefully I won't get it, or I'm working on myself. Immune system's good, but you're not going to be able to police every single person's action.
yeah. It's tough. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. Even when I see my friends, it's sad. Like I don't know what to do. Like if I ran into you on the street, I wouldn't know. Like, are we shaking hands? It's like a discussion. Like,
Oh,
what are
we're
we
hugging.
doing?
We're hugging. We're
We're
hugging.
hugging.
Yeah. I go for the hug still, and everyone's like,
Okay.
and
Let's
they
do it.
hug.
Let's do it.
I'm still smoking weed a lot, and I had some friends come over and we smoked, and it was like, well, fuck it,
Yeah, you're still being careful. I mean, you're not going out inviting like half the town to your place. It's all about
Yeah,
volume.
that's all.
It's like you have a place of 300 people. That spreads a lot faster than you and your friend. You're both and your friend. You don't know 300
Yeah,
strangers in a club or a whole thing. So
yeah.
we're doing the best we can. I am also another married guy, so I'm right here with you.
Nice. How was it's weird being home all the time, right?
It is. My wife still goes to work. She actually works for the public health department, so this is like her
Oh, okay.
crazy busy time, and I've been at home with the kids and stuff, and it's good. It's like a reset. It's like a forced vacation. I am ready to
Yeah,
get back out there, like, and sometimes I
yeah,
just need to hop in the car and drive around town, and I'll text my friends and be like, "Hey,
yeah,
you want to wave to me from the window for a second? Come down to
yeah,
the street with a mask."
yeah. We drive by 7-Eleven a lot. We'll just go out our new dates are like getting delivery and then eating it in the car.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Maybe like a drive-in movie if they have those.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are like popping up and getting very popular. But we just try to like, stay cool and just chill. But it's funny because she just comes home and she's like, she's fine with me staying. I mean, I'm doing my podcast and all this jazz, but
Yeah.
you could tell she's just kind of like, it's just funny, She understands it, she gets it, but she's like, as long as you're okay, She's like, I know how tough it is for you not being able to
Yeah.
be funny all the time because I'm tired of hearing the jokes.
Right.
Yeah. She's like, I hear them enough as it is, but now it's like it's nonstop.
Have you done any Zoom shows?
I've done a few. I'm more miss than hit on the Zoom shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like being on a Zoom call with a lot of comics and just shooting the shit. That's fun. That feels
Yeah, yeah.
more conducive than a Zoom show.
I totally agree. I did one when it was more of a hangout, and I loved that. That was great. But
Yeah,
like, it just feels
yeah,
weird. Like, it'd be like me doing my bits to you, and then like, I don't know. I mean, I would probably do one or two more or something, but I'm not like, you know, asking to get on them or even
yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that. It's just not the same. It's like we didn't get into it to do that. And I would rather just podcast and do work on that side of it.
Absolutely. You definitely see. Someone had a joke about it where it was like you definitely see the comics who were doing. Or it was like you could see the comics are who didn't need an audience for to get what they want or something like that. Where it's like no, they're just doing it because they just want attention. They just want someone to hear them talk. Like it's not for art or anything. I'm like that's hilarious.
That's a really good observation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're actually you have a great manager, Zach.
Yeah,
Waxenberg.
Waxenberg, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, dude, he's awesome. He's one of my faves.
Yeah, we met. He originally worked as an assistant for my old manager.
Yeah.
And I used to get him free tickets to the Comedy Store all the time. When he was just working in the mailroom and I was just a door guy, like we'd shoot the shit. We became friends that way.
Yeah.
Then I just get him into roast battle all the time. So we knew each other for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he watched me do stand up like all the time and all this jazz. So we became good friends. And then, my manager dropped me. And then I think like the next day, me and Zach hooked up. And it's been awesome partnership ever since.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, it's great to have someone on your team who understands what you're about. And
that's the big thing.
Yeah.
It's having someone that understands what you're about. Because the first guy I had, he was great, but you could tell he was an older guy, and the older people he had, I was just the young guy on the roster, and it's different. It's tougher,
Right.
Like I need a young guy that's kind of my age that gets what I'm doing and like can also cultivate and steer me in the right direction.
Absolutely. Speaking of steer in the right direction, like you're one of the elder voices now to like the next generation of comics coming up, all trying to get through that little funnel of the store. Like, what are some pieces of advice you can give to say like, hey, maybe try doing this, definitely avoid doing this, tips for navigating that fancy club that it is, the store?
Don't ask Adam for anything. Don't. I see people just.
Adam's the book.
Yeah,
right
Adam Egan, the talent coordinator. I see people walk up and just make fools of themselves.
Are you talking like people who are past, or just like people who are trying to get in, or everyone?
People are trying to get in, and like young guys and like open micers and stuff. Where it's like, I've seen people come up to him and be like, "Hey, can I just have a job here?" And he's like, "What? No." And it's like, "Oh, that's not how you do that." But it's like, if you want to get a job at the store, it's like, do the open mics.
Yeah.
Get to know, the door guys without being extremely annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
Get to know the management, like let them know you're interested. And then when the time comes, because they do pull door guys from the open mic. And as long as you're fun, it's so tough to be, like, it's such a funny thing to say. It's like, just be funny when you get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And be likable. And then it's like, well, that's so easy. It's like, well, you will get the opportunity to be funny in front of the right people and then just, execute.
Right. Do you feel that like, because there's a lot of opportunities in this town, and also like that people shouldn't bet everything on that one job too? Like, hey, be likable, do the mic, but don't make it like, don't be desperate about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Where it's like the store should never be the place where you're like hanging out from like 7 till 2 in the morning, unless you're like, even then, if you're paid regular, you shouldn't be hanging out there like 24/7. You should be working. You should be hitting other spots. That should be the place. That was something explained to me. It's like, you shouldn't be here all the time after you've been passed. It's like this should be the end of your night. You come here at the end of your night, you hang out, you close it out here. It's like, you should be doing other shows and like come by, hang out and stuff.
Yeah.
But this shouldn't be your home. Like, it should be your home, but this shouldn't be like, because otherwise this will be your only spot. And then you're just that guy who only does the store. Right. And is only doing comedy one night a week. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great network, and being passed there kind of gives you like a rubber stamp to be like, all right, he's good enough there, he can perform here too, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also, like, you got to go out there, I'm sure, afterwards and build the other networks too.
Absolutely. that was the thing that Steve Renazizi told me. He was like, the one
Yeah,
thing
I
I
love
regret the
Steve.
most is, he's great. He's like, one thing I regret the most is not, when I was coming up, was not performing at other clubs or going to other clubs and being seen there too. Because back in the day, it was like one club. You're only at one club. Where now it's like the Ice House is starting to show me a lot of love before the world ended.
Yeah.
The Improv was showing me a lot of love. So it's like, you can start to perform at other places and, grow as a comic.
And do you feel that roast battle was a big part of like your comeuppance?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that was the huge part of me getting a job there.
Yeah.
It was a huge part of like all the people seeing me at the time, especially being like a young guy coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first came to Los Angeles, I was not funny. I was not good at writing jokes. I was like very like mediocre, but it was through roast battle that I could show them that I could write and perform and all that. The people were like, all right, and I was also setting up the chairs and like tearing down stuff and just being like, Moses' helper. So then the management saw that I was pretty much just interning as a door guy. So then when the time came, they're like, all right, let's hire this kid.
Right. Yeah. Showing you have good attitude, good work ethic. There's this saying, it's a little cheesy, but I love it. It's like attitude determines your altitude. So like people see you doing a good job and they're like, all right, he can do the job.
Yeah. There's people that, I mean,
that's a lot of LA. A lot of LA is not like, hey, look at the open ads. What's hiring? It's like, who can do this? Hey, he looks good. Let's get him. And if you're that guy at the right place, right time, it just works out.
Absolutely. I mean, that place, that job, I mean, people talk shit about being a door guy all the time or like how shitty the job is and all that jazz, but it's like, you get what you, you get what you put into it? Yeah, you get what you put in, because it is a minimum wage job. It is taking the trash out. It is sweeping up vomit. It is yelling at drunk people.
Yeah.
But you get to be surrounded by all the dopest comics. You get to rub shoulders with them. You get to know them. And having the shirt is a stamp of approval in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
So, especially when guys like, Rogan or those big guys see you taking out the trash and fucking, sweeping up vomit, and then you got to go be funny for 5 minutes, and then you smash. Then you go back to fucking sweeping up vomit. They're like, okay, I'm going to cut this kid some slack.
Right,
but that's all a part of the job,
Yeah, that'd be a funny book to write. Funny in between vomit, the story of Frank.
I mean, it really is. I mean, when it gets to the point where you're like, you could be a door guy. I mean, there was a time where I was working all of the time at the store, and I was so likable and so just cool with all of the people that ran shows that you could work but also be doing spots. Mm-hmm. Tony Hinchcliffe was like the first guy that would do that. He'd go to before it was development spots, he'd go to shows and be like, let me cold open for like 5 minutes. So there was like a night where I cold opened the belly room, full shows, and then someone would toss me up at the end of the main room show when there was like 20 people because it was some bringer show.
Yeah.
But it's like, I worked 8 hours, but I also got to do 3 spots at the store.
Yeah. I mean, which is like what exactly, it's like the dream.
Yeah. I'm watching Theo Von pop in all 3 rooms. All these other guys are doing the same thing. And then it's like, oh, in a way I'm doing the same thing. I'm just popping in on all these shows, 5 minutes, 3 minutes here. I'm not any of those guys, but it's like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm working, I'm grinding.
Yeah.
And they see it, they watch you and they're like, oh, okay, this kid's doing what he needs to do.
Absolutely. I saw you, I think, for the first time. I don't know if we had met yet formally, but you're doing roast battle. And I think like you were like you're leaving LA for a bit or something. Cause they brought you up as like, hey, this guy's about to go out of town. He's the reigning champ or whatever. Did you move to London or something?
No, I think, there was a few times where because at that time I was just starting to go on the road as a feature. Cause there was a moment where it was like before roast battle, I was just doing mics and stuff. Like no one was taking me on the road.
Yeah.
And then certain people started taking me on the road. So I was getting a little bit of road work, and then roast battle happened. And then like everybody started taking me on the road. So I started going out with like Bert, and then I ended up going to Tokyo for like 2 weeks.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah. So I started going and just doing all this other crazy shit. And I started like traveling, started being a feature, which was a great feeling. So I quit roast battle, like, cause I would help and run the room every Tuesday for like years.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I got to stop because I got to go do like road shit.
Yeah. They run a really great comedy brand. And I read Julie Sebaugh's book about roast battle, and it was was really cool to see like all the story of how it came together. And Coach T is amazing. Like just
Yeah.
like he makes that look so easy, but it's so complicated, and how focused he is before the show, setting up the samples and how fast he can trigger stuff. Like as an audio
That
guy,
show,
my mind is
yeah.
blown.
Yeah, the show changed. Like the show, as it was growing, had a lot of like major changes. Like you could definitely tell there's like eras of the roast battle. And when Coach Chi showed up and started doing music, that changed everything. It upped the game. It upped the show. People started coming, and the guests would be like, "Holy fuck!" Like the DJ was just off the hook.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Coach D really, really changed the vibe and made it what it is.
Yeah, it's like it's a spectacle in a way that a lot of comedy hasn't been able to achieve, because it sometimes like a theme show can be kind of cheesy sometimes, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And it was also extremely organic with the way it started, and I think that was one of the most beautiful parts of the whole thing.
Yeah. And it's after it already had its like crescendo into being like this big Hollywood thing on TV, it's still good and fun and awesome. So anyone who
Yeah, it
hasn't
became a
go,
staple.
definitely go Tuesday Belly Room. Check out the roast battle. It's not to be missed.
Yeah, I was in San Jose and I heard some girl. I was at a mic and this girl came up to me and she's like, "Hey, we met in Los Angeles." She's like, "I'm from San Jose. I met you when I went up there. I had to take my pilgrimage, you know." And I was like, "Oh wow, people think of this as like comics like from out of town will go to see the roast battle
Yeah.
because they have to see it. They've heard so much about it."
Yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely fun. I love stopping by there. And it's like you can get a really good shot too. In a way, if you're funny and you show you're a good writer, it's like a lot of people are watching you. You get a
People have
lot of
gotten
eyes
writing
on you.
jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay Light was in. That was me and Jay Light. The first time we battled was
I
in
love
front of
Jay.
Chappelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jay Light has a horseshoe up his ass because every time he's battled, someone huge has walked in.
Yeah.
Like Jim Carrey was there, Chappelle was there, like all just insane guests have been there when Jay's been battling, and it's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, where else? Yeah. Where else are you going to do a couple minutes in front of like these legends? I mean, Jon Stewart was there one time. Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's no other place. Yeah, there's no other show that you could do like that. Because even then, on a regular stand-up show, if you're like on a bringer show and you're doing stand-up, and then Jerry Seinfeld pops in or whoever, they're not going to come and like watch you do stand-up and give you feedback.
yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
like a roast, if they watch you roast and you murder, like I've seen comics get to know huge people or just get their break in a sense by like battling in front of like huge dudes, and they're like, "Yo, I want you to write for me," or like, "Oh, I want you to open for me."
Mm-hmm.
Jermaine Fowler opened up, and I think like festival people or like TV people were in there, and then that was one of the big things that helped get the ball rolling for him. He like, I think he smashed there, and then he got JFL, or it was like he did JFL and then he
Oh,
smashed
wow.
there, but like, yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That's such a good point, that like those opportunities can just fly open. And yeah, if you're smart about it. A lot of life in LA is about like knowing when you're ready for these little opportunities too. It's like, I mean, I would love your input on this to kind of co-sign it, but it feels like when you're doing the store mic or roast battle, like you can do it too early. And then if you do it too early, it's hard to walk back that initial perception.
Absolutely, I've seen it happen with the open mic at the store all the time, especially Potluck, because it's like, yo, Adam's watching. Like the talent coordinator is going to watch you do stand up.
Yeah.
It's your first time doing stand up. That's what he's going to think of you every time he sees you, and that's how his image of you is going to be for a few years, you know, until the next time he sees you and you change that.
Right.
So it's like, I think, you know, when you go up, it's very important, especially at the store. So it's like, if you're starting, don't go to the store for your first time. Go everywhere else. Show up there prepared.
Yeah. Those times like, hey, this is my first time doing comedy at Potluck. You're like, oh no.
No. I tell girls too.
Yeah.
Especially girls. They'll be like, yo, it's my first time. I'm like, don't. Go somewhere else. Do somewhere else. I'm like, you're mean. I'm like, no, trust me. I'm giving you great advice.
Yeah.
Just go somewhere else and get good and then come back.
Yeah. Jamie Flam, who used to be the booker at the Improv and now runs Dynasty Typewriter, he had great advice. It's like, when you think you're ready, just wait another 9 months, then do it.
Yeah. I thank God I didn't get season 1 because I almost did, and I was so upset. And I remember Moses had to like talk me down off the ledge. So I was just so like angry.
Yeah.
And he was like, because I mean, at the time I was literally like, picking up chairs every Tuesday, like cleaning up, like setting up all the mics. Like I was doing that for years.
Yeah, yeah.
So when the TV show came around and I didn't get a look, I was like, just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
the fuck are these people? And then it just worked out because the second time I was just ready. I kept battling. I was just ready for it. He told me, don't get mad, get better.
Oh, that's great advice.
And I remember hearing that and I just got even more mad. And then I was like, God damn it. And then I was like, okay, you're right.
And as much as it feels personal, it really never is. Like, it's not about like, fuck that guy. It's about just like, hey, like things line up and they have the casting, they need this kind of look, they need this thing. Like, it's a million different inputs to making things. And it's never like, it's never exclusionary. It's never like we don't want that guy.
Yeah.
This one casting person told me this great piece of advice, and I'm not an actor by any means, but for actors out there and comedians who are looking for casting, it was like, casting people want to fill the job. They want to fill it and go home. They're not devious. They don't want to like keep you from getting things. They want to do their job. So if you walk in and are amazing, that's perfect for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it took me a while to figure that out too, until like, I think season 3, I didn't get picked, but I got to go hang out. And then I was just like listening to the producers and all them talking. I was like, oh, it has nothing to do with being funny. It has nothing. It's a huge part of it, but it's also a lot of other things.
It's a lot of other things, exactly. And for those who don't know, when you're talking about these seasons, this is the roast battle show that was on TV, right?
Yes, yes.
So you were on season 2?
Yeah, and I think they did 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's like the UK one. There's like there's one in Africa. There's one in Mexico. There's like a Polish one. Everyone's doing it. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. It's kind of like I came up in like the hip hop world, so it's like it's like a written freestyle. It's like you're making fun of the guy,
dozens, but different.
But you can go home and like do the work. You know, you don't have to like do it on the spot. And freestyle battles, they do, write a little bit. But it's fun if you're a good writer. And I've seen some guys just so funny, and it's a way of just seeing a different POV on stand up. And
absolutely,
I can't wait for it to come back. This is like, I'm gonna have a tear in my eye.
They still do it on Fridays. I think they're doing it online. And
are they really?
The videos.
I'm gonna check it on Friday. Damn.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's still pretty fun.
That's actually one of the stand-up things that could translate maybe the best.
Yeah.
Because it's
like, actually it translated so well. So many a bunch of other shows are starting to do it.
So it's like another version of everyone copying roast battle.
Yeah. It was just so funny. Because everyone's starting to realize like Zoom shows are hard.
Yeah.
Stand-up on Zoom shows are tough, but like theme shows are just giving comics an objective to do something.
Yeah.
That translates much better.
Right.
So like everyone's starting to realize like roasting is, a easy show to do.
That's so smart. Yeah. Because there's a clear objective to like make fun of this person.
And you can see it. Yeah.
When you're doing stand-up, there's multi-layered objectives, like, and you're trying to connect ultimately. And how do you connect over, Zoom and, oh, wow. I'm definitely going to check that out. Thanks for recommending that. And also a lot of things we talk about in this pod is like, goals, things you want to do. I noticed like you've been very healthy over this last year. You've lost weight. You've been focused on staying healthy, or is that all gone now?
Yeah. No, not these past, not since coronavirus hit.
It's all over.
I have, it's bad, bro. I look like a fucking mole rat that fucking found the garbage can unlocked. It is bad. I need to start doing push-ups or something.
Yeah, I've started. I have a hard time doing cardio right now, but I got a little jump rope and that's been helping. But it's hard. It's so easy to eat constantly because your fridge is right there.
Oh yeah,
so
you just hang around. The day I turned 31, the night before, I don't know if I just ate a bunch of cheese or whatever, but like I woke up so constipated.
Yeah.
I like went to the bathroom and I just couldn't go.
Yeah.
And I was like, trying to like, and I was like, oh my God. And I was like so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had read that, when most men die on the toilet when they have heart attacks because they think they have to shit. Because they feel like they have to shit, and then they go and that's what like one of the symptoms of having a heart attack is.
Oh man!
So like I straight up like woke my wife up and was like, I'm a hypochondriac. I do shit all the time. So like I woke her up I woke her up. I was like, I can't. I'm having trouble pooping, and I think I'm having a heart attack. Am I gonna die? And she just looked at me and she goes, drink some water. And I was like, okay.
That's a nice calming force of a wife. Drink some water. Go back to bed.
Yeah.
You're constipated.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you've been investing in yourself in other ways, starting this podcast. You want to tell listeners
Yeah.
what it's about?
Yeah, so I have two podcasts. One called Buddies. I'm a huge stoner. I don't know if you could tell. That's actually why yesterday happened. We stopped. So my phone died, and then so like what we do is like my friend JP works at Buds and Roses.
Okay.
And I'm a huge weed guy, big stoner, but I'm also a big fan of educating people on weed culture, because there's a lot of like, I don't know how into weed you are, but there's a lot of stuff that people still don't know. And there's a lot of like, I don't want to rally against corporations, but there's a lot of, with weed being legal, there's a lot of companies that just have a lot of money that are jumping into this, and they don't know anything that they're doing. And it's like creating this crazy turmoil in the marketplace. So me and my friend go through stories and we talk about that and stuff that's going on, try to educate people. And we smoke a lot of really good weed. We review that, and then we invite guests. But at the store, we would roll big fat joints, usually about an eighth or a quarter in each joint. So when we have guests, we'll just roll them a joint, we give it to them, and then we have them call in, and it's like we're smoking at the store. We just talk, just have fun. So it's been a lot of fun. We've gotten some good sponsors. Just called Buddies, me and some guests getting stoned, having
Buddies.
fun. Yeah.
Hey,
and then
buddy.
the other one, hey buddy. Then the other one I started was with my wife. It's a therapy podcast. It's because she's going to be a licensed therapist. She's got a master's in she's got a master's in psychology, and I'm a comic, so I try to make her laugh all the time, and she tries to figure out what's wrong with me. So it's just like really fun, honest conversations. And, she tries to teach therapy, and I just am obnoxious. So it's a lot of fun. It's great.
Yeah. Like the therapist, like you go and you sit on the couch and she listens to you, that kind of therapist?
But sort of, well, she's, that, and she's a eating disorder therapist. That's what
wow.
specifies
it's perfect
in.
for LA.
Yeah, I know, right? She wants to do marriage and family. That's where she specializes in marriage and family. But the podcast is just us. Like, I think she's hilarious. I mean, that's the only reason why I would date her, is because she has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
She's like super shy. So like this, she can be vulnerable, and she's not like in front of anybody. So it's like we get to say like ridiculous shit, and it's pretty fun. It's called Kissing in a Milkshake.
Kissing in a Milkshake. And you started that one first?
We started both of them at the same time, but that's something me and her like record like all the time.
You're like, I'm gonna go double fisting, like 1, 2, let's go.
I have all the equipment at my house, and I have nothing to do, so I've just like been jumping into that.
Yeah.
And we release about 2 episodes a week, and we record like twice a week. I have nothing to do. So.
Yeah, that's Rogan style. Like, just keep making them.
Yeah, I mean, it's also really easy to just go and drop off a huge joint at someone's and have them call in. Like, it's super simple. Like, at first it was going to be so tough because like finding somewhere to smoke, like a studio, was the toughest thing. But now with Corona, it's like, oh, well, just smoke it at your house, and I'm going to smoke it at my house. And yeah, it works.
Yeah, in some ways it made the pod easier and better, and like it's not actually that bad. The best, actually, if we do this again, we should both record into Zoom, and then we send each other the audio and line it up that way. Nice,
yeah. I've been using Anchor FM. Have you tried that?
No.
That's a good one too. So you can do calls, and you can record the audio but your phone is your speaker, and you can do headphones and stuff. The only problem with that is it's one audio track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, I have basically this mic is going into the Zoom, and then channel 2 of the Zoom is the output from the Mac into the Zoom.
Nice.
And then and I have a separate camera recording me and then screen capturing you on FaceTime. And if I put it all in Premiere and say sync, it just syncs it all up. So it's actually perfect.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God damn. Okay. I gotta start fucking with that. I gotta start fucking with Premiere, dog.
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing I learned in this quarantine is Premiere. I'm like, I could start like captioning videos for people, a little side thing.
Yeah, charging $175 a video.
Is that what people charge?
Some people charge like $175. Other people charge like $90, $80, $60. Just depends.
Honestly, I wouldn't do it. It's so tedious, and like I barely like doing it for my videos.
It's tedious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been using Headliner for all like my Instagram
Headliner's
videos.
Great. I just started doing that for the last one. The clip I put up with Fahim was from Headliner. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It's so good. Yeah.
So Headliner takes basically audio and adds that little like moving waveform to like
Yeah,
video
yeah.
clips. Oh, it's money.
What I've been doing is I've been deleting the waveform, so it's just the clip, and then it's just I don't know. I'm really into like vinyl art and stuff. Like it's old school. Like, oh, there's no waveform. I'm done.
I mean, yeah, they have lots of different styles. Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
It always bugs me like on apps when the waveform moves and it's not in sync with the audio. So I was just impressed. Like when you're listening to your iPhone podcast app, it just moves and you're like, it's not moving with the mouth. And that like, that bothers me. I don't know. Ex audio guy, you have all these like, you know, things that really bug you. And even some of these shows, like you watch these like late night shows and sometimes or shows, call-in shows, and you're like, wow, they can't even get the sound right. It's amazing.
Yeah. Audio is so important.
So important.
Yeah, I mean, with my podcast, I feel like the learning curve. It took me like 2 episodes to finally, I feel like, get everything perfect.
Yeah. Are you using a Zoom?
No. So I'll usually have them just call in on my phone because I have my H6.
Yeah.
So I have a
Zoom H6.
I usually have a directional,
different kind of Zoom. Yeah.
Different Zoom. Yeah. So I'll use the directional mic for when they call in, and then I just have my regular mics for us, and it actually works out perfectly once I put it into Garage. I can fuck with the audio.
It's pretty amazing. Like I was thinking about investing in a podcast. It's like you're buying a Zoom that's like $400. You're buying I mean, you could do it with an SM58, like a simple mic that's $100. You buy a cable, and you're pretty much ready to go on the audio side. Like, so if you have a good concept, it's like you just start doing it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was someone reached out to me. They're like, it sounds good. I was like, yeah. Once you get like the H6, really can set you up, you know. And I bought all the other stuff, and once you learn how to use, you can do everything in GarageBand. And Headliner really set me up. So, and Anchor FM publishes everything for you pretty much. So that was the thing, is like all these tools are available, and I'm doing nothing right now.
Yeah,
I have so much creative like energy, like I got to do something. And the funny thing is, when I go and call these comics to be on the podcast, and I go to drop off the weed, I could tell they're so excited and so just desperate for attention to talk to someone. And when I go to drop off the weed, it ends up being longer than the podcast when they call in. Like like that should be the podcast when I just go drop off the weed, because they're like, oh, hey, what's up? Hey, what you doing? I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I'm good. Hey, yeah.
You should record those, and they could be like bonus episodes or your Patreon or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why when I call you, like I'm already recording, because it's like sometimes the best parts are like the first like 5 minutes. You're like, oh, that was so natural. Or even when we hang up, sometimes we keep talking, and then it's like I'm recording that just in case, because it's like, it's just you know, you never know what you're gonna get, and it doesn't cost any more to just press record all the time. So. Mm-hmm. So what are some of your comedy goals for this next year? I know it's like a weird thing to say, and who knows when you'll be back, but like, it's going to start opening up, maybe 20% capacity, maybe 30. And what are some of the things you're trying to achieve this year?
I really want to quit. No.
Good. Okay, cool. And wrap.
No, I had just signed a contract with Comedy Dynamics to release an album.
Oh, nice.
So we were going to do that. And then I was going to be opening up for Bert on his next like leg of the tour. And then I was setting up some like, you know, headlining stuff. Like I would like to be able to headline clubs, and that's really what I just want to be able to headline clubs. Like I want to be busy on the weekends doing that. That's like my main goal. That's the main one. Selling a TV show is always good. And I'm like, you know, in the middle of selling some cartoons, like I'm, you know, pitching them and like talking to people and shopping around and stuff. Mm-hmm. But like I'm thing I want to do more now, like have my album out and to be able to headline. Those are the two big things.
And what do you think the biggest thing you need to be a headliner is? Like, when some people say it's audience, some people say it's draw. Like, what is it in your mind?
I mean, the club wants you to draw for sure. But I think like having the time is super important, because otherwise they're not going to come back if you don't have it. Yeah. But that's it. Like, so for me, it's having the act, having the time. Yeah. But I think building the podcast is a good way, especially now, is to build the fan base. So when you do go back out, they'll be there. Right.
Yeah, it's another touch point. And it's also having an album too. Like a lot of people, you know, come see you based on like Pandora, based on Sirius XM, based on those plays too. And that can kind of sometimes be from, we just had it's a great episode if you're interested, just had the head of comedy from Pandora on the pod. and having your music on there and those platforms can really get you new fans and markets and figure out like where you want to tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the audio side of comedy is still like super important. Like people like, the special is so flashy and great and it's awesome to be on these amazing streaming platforms, but audio is still like super dominant.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I still love albums. I still love the albums. I mean, specials are great, but man, I've always loved albums.
Yeah, and something about like listening and not seeing too is fun because like you don't get distracted. You're
Yeah.
just like you're locked in with the jokes, and I love driving with comedy albums too.
Yeah.
I'm really glad Netflix is actually releasing their albums now on audio platforms too, because sometimes you just want to listen to them in the car. And a great special is like a great movie. You can listen to it a couple of times over and over.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite specials right now?
I mean, I'm a huge Seinfeld fan, so I like Seinfeld's one. I thought that was really great. I loved Mark Norman's one, Shot at Dynasty. That was super awesome. Just so many jokes, so fun. I love Sam Morril's one, Taylor Tomlinson's. There's so many that came out that I'm forgetting, I'm sure, but it's been a good year for specials.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah. What are some of yours?
My biggest ones, I like Taylor's. Taylor's was great. I liked Eric Griffin's.
I didn't see that. I'll check that one out.
He had one to come out on Showtime. That was really, really good.
Okay.
Always a big John Mulaney fan. The Sack Lunch Bunch, I mean, it wasn't like a traditional comedy special, but man, that shit had me rolling.
Yeah, I love Mulaney.
I'm a big Mike Birbiglia fan.
Oh, I saw him live at downtown LA. It was so good. Yeah. Oh, man.
He's so good.
As someone with kids, too, it just hit so close to home. It was so dead on. Yeah.
Dude, all those toys falling from the ceiling, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it totally caught me off guard, and it was, it was special. He's just so unique, and I love how he takes his time. That's one thing I want to work on this year is just like slowing down and taking my time with some of these bits, like on the big setups and stuff. Like I think my longest bit right now is 4 minutes, but I'd love to have like a long chunk that's like a story that really builds and stuff.
Yeah.
Bert's great at that. I mean, he's like, his stories are epic.
Yeah. After going on the road with him, I felt like it definitely, watching him do stories and stuff, it definitely helped me when it came to like storytelling and stuff.
Yeah. And just I'm sure you got to see him do the story multiple different times, multiple different ways, and just keep refining, keep adding, pulling, punching up, and watching it grow.
Yeah, I got to watch, I think, Secret Time. I watched him build that whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he's a force in terms of marketing too. I'm sure you're going to pick up a lot of like tips, like do it like this, do it like that. And
yeah, he's really got it down.
He had a great thing I think he told Mark Normand or somebody that it was like, hey, just be 80-20, 80% comedy, 20% marketing. And that's like the mix. Because you need it. Like he's like, some people are 100% comedy and that's fine. But if you just alter that little formula a little bit and build your marketing, build your socials, like you can have a really successful career.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what Dane Cook did with MySpace. Like you see a lot of guys that like, I mean, he was at the forefront of it. Yeah, you see like that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Instagram guys that are selling out clubs on Wednesday, Thursdays,
Oh, yeah. It is, it's interesting because like Instagram, it doesn't seem like it's a 1-for-1. Like someone with 5,000 followers can do a theater, someone with 50,000 can't. And it's like this weird, like it's not like a 1-for-1 ratio, but if you're being funny on there and cultivating fans for your comedy, it definitely does help.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you still using Twitter to do jokes?
I rarely do. I just feel like Twitter's such an easy way for you to get in trouble. So it's I mostly do Instagram.
I have so many tweets in the drafts folder. I'd write something, I'm like, maybe later, and I never come back to it.
Yeah, I'll tweet some stuff, and then I'm like, and then I'll see someone else tweet like either like something similar or like a better version, and it just blows up, and I'm like, oh, well, a lot of it's just catching that algorithm and having followers.
Yeah, exactly. And I got on, I started building my Twitter a little late, and so it's like, it's really hard to get traction on there now.
Yeah.
I get like
absolutely
5 to 10 likes. I'm like, oh man, I'm just blowing this one out of the park right now.
Oh yeah,
killing it. Yeah, but it's still good to like promote the pod and promote other things.
You got it, absolutely.
Yeah, I see some people going all out too. They're like, they have a Pinterest, they have a Tumblr, and I'm like, whoa, you're really You're really
Yeah. If you're focusing that much on that side, I don't know how much the writing is going.
Yeah, maybe you're 30, 70 right now if your Pinterest is
Yeah.
too popping with recipes.
I heard a manager say, he goes, if I see you do boomerangs, then I know the set's not going well.
Oh, like while you're like you did at the club?
Yeah, if you're doing boomerangs on stage, if I see a boomerang of you on stage, then I know you're not doing well.
Oh, wow, that's cold.
I was like, that's so funny.
Oh my God, yeah, it's true. It's like yeah, you can kind of tell. I feel like I'm high.
I know, hilarious. Yeah, geez.
Yeah. I don't actually smoke, but I'm looking forward to doing your pod. Do you do it the same way, just like this over Zoom or some sort of?
Oh, usually you'll just call in and then we'll just get super baked. I'm mostly gonna just ask you about being Canadian and not smoking weed. And it's so strange.
Yeah. I guess we'll save all that for your pod. I won't.
Yeah.
I won't give away all the secrets, but we're recording that this Wednesday, and
yeah,
it'll be fun.
My family works for Canadian DEA.
Your family does?
No, your family does.
Oh yeah, right. That'd be that's like this. What if there's like the super long game for like a bust?
Canada has like a DEA, right?
Maybe on horseback with like something. I don't know. I have no idea.
No, they have like a drug enforcement agency, or is it all just one agency?
They don't like America's so good at marketing their agencies. They have jackets and it's 3 letters. You know, like
they really do.
We don't even know. It's like we think we must. I'm sure there's some guys working on it.
Different colored horses for different departments.
I know we have Mounties and police, and I'm sure there's other people doing other stuff, but they got to get on. They need their 80/20 marketing, Canada. Get your like seed drug shirts and stuff. And
dude, I would love to see what Canadian SWAT looks like.
Canadian SWAT, that's hilarious. That'd be a really funny skit to do. It's like nothing. It's just a guy and he just knocks on a door and says hello.
Yeah. The door busting thing is like the smallest. It's just like
yeah, and he just goes up and knocks. Oh yeah, he's not home, guys. Let's come back later. Yeah. There we go. When we're out of quarantine, we'll shoot Canadian SWAT. Yeah, it'd be extra funny when it airs in Canada because Canadians will be like, "What's SWAT? Well, what are you talking about? SWAT a fly?"
Yeah.
We don't even know what this is.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but we do actually have like a lot of violence up there. Like in Vancouver, it was the second largest like non-violent crime. So for a lot of break-ins, a lot of like robberies, that kind of stuff. It was like Detroit, then Vancouver at the time I lived there. So like I had my house broken into. No, not at all. I mean, were you serious or not? I can't tell. Americans don't know geography, so I can't.
I'm so bad at geography. So that's why I know it's not, but that's why.
You knew it. You kind of didn't know. You're like, is it?
No. I know it's not. Okay. And that's why it was so funny.
So funny.
Like, oh yeah, those are nowhere near. I know. Michigan is somewhat close to some part of Canada.
Yeah.
I just don't know which part.
Right. So yeah, it was a lot of like I had my house.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I have my 2 amazing American geography stories. Where when I first moved to LA, I had dinner with this group of people, and there was like this grandma there, and she's like, "Oh, you're from Canada?" It's like, "Yeah," and she's like, "So when you go home, do you fly into SeaTac, and then just dog sled the rest of the way?" And she asked me like dead straight faced. I was like, seriously. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I Woofy and Fox are my dogs. And
Snow Dogs? You ever watch Snow Dogs? Yeah, that was my life.
That was my life, yeah. And then the other famous one was my buddy told me, he's like, yeah, when we were growing up, we just had a map of America. And someone asked me like, what's above Maine? And I just said the ocean because it was just all blue around America.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I mean, we learn a lot of Canadian history, but we don't learn much about America, but I think I don't know why we're better at maps or something.
I mean, why would you want to learn about America if you're Canadian? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, it would be like, you ever watch like Harry Potter where like they have to go sneak into like the like locked up section of the library.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's what it would be for like Canadians looking at American history. Where it was just like, it's like, oh, you guys can't, like, this is the X-rated stuff, and then like you got to go behind a thing, and then you get to look at it, and you're like, oh man, Americans are fucking weird.
But we learned, like, we have all the same TV shows, so like we learned like
really?
a Simpsons episode, like, oh, like, so like everything is American TV for the most part. So it's like we're getting it like through kind of like bits and pieces. Like, okay, Jebediah Springfield, that's got to be, that guy was important. And then you learn these little things about it, and you kind of put it together. Oh, there's Civil War. You kind of learn that through some sort of like Hallmark movie, and then you kind of, all right, there was a war, atomic bomb, something, and then that sounds good. Let's move. I want to move there. Let's do it. But it feels like I've been here almost 17 years, so it's
okay.
The West Coast is still LA is a very like Canada vibe in some ways, you know?
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. You've been to Van?
I think I'd like Canada. No, I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to go to Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Never been.
I mean, I would have even bought you being Canadian. I mean, I could totally see it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You're a very nice guy. You smile a lot, smoke weed. I mean, you're more Canadian than I am.
Oh, man. Man, I feel like I'd love to go to Canada. That'd be funny. I walk out and I'm just like, oh my God, this is where I was meant to be.
Yeah, you're ethnically ambiguous. That's a big part of Canada too.
Are a lot of Canadians ethnically ambiguous?
I mean, how many Canadians do you know besides me?
You, Abby Roberge, and like 3 others. I know like 3 Canadians.
I mean, we're all pretty ethnically ambiguous.
Oh, okay.
No, it's mostly white.
Yeah.
But I just found out recently, I was talking to Abby. I was like, I didn't know you were from Vancouver. I was like, it was such a small world. But
yeah, he's like, what's it called? He's like a form of Buddhist something.
Okay.
He like lived in a monastery in Canada.
Nice. Maybe that's why I didn't. I go to the monastery on Tuesdays. Maybe he's a Wednesday guy. I'll have to hit him up about that. But dude,
Does he have Mormons in Canada?
Oh yeah, we got everything. We got that. We got Mormons. We got O. Henry bars. We got Kit Kats. Like
O. Henry bars.
Oh no, O. Henry, is that Canadian?
I don't know what O. Henry bars are.
Oh yeah, maybe that's one of the ones that you guys don't have. It's like nougat with caramel and peanuts and chocolate.
You mean a Snickers bar?
No. We have Snickers too. We got O. Henry as well. I'm bringing you some O. Henry. It's the best chocolate bar by far.
O. Henry. Is this gonna be? Are you gonna ruin Snickers for me?
Oh, it's ruined already. You know it's ruined. Do you like regular Snickers or almond Snickers?
I didn't like almond Snickers when I was a kid. I love them now. Like I've grown to love almonds.
All right, that's the first Canadian test. If you like almond Snickers better, that's a very Canada move.
Also, I love fries with cheese on them, so that's perfect.
Okay, how do you feel about gravy on the fries?
I love it. Yeah.
What's your favorite sport?
I mean, I love hockey. I'm a big hockey fan.
Are you really?
Yeah, San Jose Sharks.
Oh my God. I feel like you need to call your parents when this is over and ask them for the
truth. Call my Mexican mom. Mom, am I secretly Canadian? She's like, yes, we got you from the wrong border.
Exactly. Loves hockey, cheese fries, gravy. Nice guy. I think you're Canadian. Listen, when the revolution comes, because it's coming, I'll vouch for you. I'll be like, he just lost his passport.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Don't come on, guys.
I look great on a horse.
Looks great on a horse, so it's perfect. Well, dude, like thanks for doing the pod, man. This is really fun. We kind of covered things in a different order this time, but I love it. Where can people find you if they want to follow you online, learn about your comedy, etc.?
Frank Castillo on Instagram. That's what I mostly do a lot of stuff on. Frank C Comedy on Twitter. And if you want to look at or listen to our new podcast, Anchor FM, look for Frank Castillo again. That's where I have all of them. But it's Buddies on Spotify and Kissing in a Milkshake also on Spotify.
Buddies on Spotify, Kissing in a Milkshake. I'm definitely going to check them out so I know what I'm getting into on Wednesday. And dude, I can't wait. I can't wait for our hug. It's going to be epic. And yeah, let's hang out soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to try these O. Henry bars. Oh,
dude, I'm going to have to get some ice pack shipped over here. And yeah, O. Henry is the shit.
Oh, by the way, I remember, quick before we go, one last story. I love the mansion that you guys have.
The comedy bunker. Yo, you killed it. You guys such good sets.
So great.
Yeah.
But I love the after party you guys did for the festival that you guys had.
For the Southland Fest.
Yeah, Southland Fest, and you guys had that. You guys had tacos there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I remember I ate like so many tacos, but I just remember I was like the lady. I was like, that lady. I feel like this lady hates all of us, and I thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, duh. She probably hates all of us because we're all like young kids in a mansion just eating tacos, and then I was like, she probably thinks we're all just rich kids, and I was just dying.
It was weird because they hated like everybody. Like I don't know what their deal was. They were so delicious too. They were like the soup
So
Nazi of
good.
tacos. They're like, get out of my face, don't touch anything. And the tacos were amazing. That was a Southland Comedy Festival after party, and like I'm so glad all these moments. I'm so glad happened because like everything is so precious now. Like
Yeah,
you don't realize it now, but at the time,
that was
stressful. You're
so much
getting
fun.
and yeah, it was like a big section of, and people kept showing up. We're like, all right, we're gonna shut it down at 11, and then like Fahim and Ian Edwards would show up. We're like, all right, we're gonna keep it going, and more people would show up, and you're like, all right, we'll keep it going, and it wasn't too busy. It just like people would leave and come, and it was just
Yeah,
such a great hang,
yeah,
and those guys really did a great festival.
yeah.
Like it
It was
was
an amazing festival.
so well done in a city like LA to put something together where people are jaded and hate everything. Like it was so awesome, and I hats off to the whole squad. They really
Yep.
delivered.
Yeah, they smashed.
Smash. So hopefully they do it again next year. I mean, I think my guess is they would have done it 100% if it wasn't for this Corona thing, and now we gotta be like, all right, well, who knows?
Yeah.
2022, maybe skip a year, but I just hope everyone gets healthy and we can move past this and go back to regular life. So
Me too.
it'll be great, dude. So yeah, thanks again, Frank Castillo. Appreciate you. And I'll
Thank you
see you
so
soon.
much. Did you see my face? Perfect.
I see your
Yeah,
face.
thank you so much,
Boom.
bro.
Dude, that was great.
Have a good one.
Next time we'll do we'll get you on the mic and we'll get better sound.
Hey, no worries.
All right, later.